Hello and welcome back to Factory Talk. Now, so far on the show, we've mainly been speaking to people who are involved in manufacturing in one way or another. But once again, this week's programme features something just a little different. We're focusing on Lumo, a company based in County Durham. Well, Lumo works with businesses up and down the UK and helps them to understand and capitalise on R&D credits. But what does that actually mean? Well, I'm delighted to say we're joined by Joe Routledge, who is an innovation specialist at Lumo. Good to talk to you, Joe. So I sort of mangled a little bit about what you do. Give us a better introduction to Lumo and what you actually do.
Okay, so here at Lumo, what we do is we specialise in supporting our clients with their innovation work. So what that means is we can help make sure that they are maximising their research and development tax credit claims, but also we can advise on patent box and capital allowance savings. And then moving forward, we look to really kind of partner with our clients to advise and support them with future projects so that not only are they maximising their future claims, but we can also help them with their forecasting and budgeting to allow them to make sure that they are as accurate as possible when they're estimating for future costs and profits.
Right, give us a general overview, if you would, of research and development tax credits.
Yeah. So R&D tax credits support companies that work on innovative projects in science and technology. The main focus that we need to identify to ensure that a tax credit is successful is that there is a clear advance both in science and technology that isn't readily available within the market. It can also be claimed on unsuccessful projects as well, because by nature of research and development, it doesn't guarantee a successful outcome.
Now, most people are sort of a little bit scared, I suppose, by the word tax. Give us some facts and some misconceptions about this particular system that we're talking about, the R&D tax credits.
A couple of facts. So if you're an SME in a smaller company, it's much more lucrative for you because on average, you can get 30% of every identified pound of R&D expenditure back as an SME client. And there is huge UK investment in R&D tax credits. In 2017, 2018 alone, there's £4.3 billion invested in R&D tax credits. Certain regions are more successful with R&D than others. For example, London and the Southeast probably claimed about 60% of R&D tax credits. So there's massive opportunities for other companies outside of those regions to claim their R&D. And it's also always available to new and established companies. I think a lot of people think that you've got to have been going for quite a few years before you can claim. What the beauty of R&D tax credits as well, if it's something that you've not explored, you can take advantage and claim for up to 2 previous financial years, depending on when your financial year is. So there is potential, if it's not something you've looked at, that a return can be done quite quickly and a refund made quite promptly. You don't necessarily have to wait for your next current year end to make a claim.
So how do you go about doing it then?
So you can do it yourself. There's absolutely no harm in doing that, or you can work with companies like ourselves. We look to basically do a holistic review of your company to identify all the different areas where an R&D tax credit claim could be made. And then we'll write the report, we'll submit it to HMRC, and then we'll pay out the refund when HMRC sign off on the claim.
Right, that's the how. Let's turn to the who. Who's eligible for R&D tax credits?
So you must be a UK limited company, and self-employed and partnerships are unable to claim. For the SME scheme, which is the smaller company claim, you must have less than 500 employees and a turnover of less than 100 million. If you're above that criteria, you would fall under what's called the RDEC scheme. So that's where the larger companies can claim. And on average, it works out about 9 pence of every pound of R&D expenditure can be claimed back under the RDEC scheme.
Do you think there are a lot of companies then that are just completely unaware that this system exists?
Yeah, we've come across companies large and small who haven't necessarily claimed everything they're entitled to, or haven't even heard about R&D tax credits. There's a lot of companies that we've come across who have thought that they're not eligible, but through conversations with ourselves, we've been able to identify areas where a viable claim can be made. For example, and it's particularly relevant for FactoryNOW and MTDCNC, within manufacturing, a lot of areas within research and development where clients are claiming or expect to be able to claim is within real innovative products. So, lab work, designing new products, bringing them to market. But actually, when it comes to manufacturing, what is often completely overlooked is work within continuous improvement. So if you are reducing downtime in machinery, reducing raw material wastage, bringing in green energy solutions, all of this work can also be included within a research and development claim, as long as we can, as stated before, identify a clear innovative angle.
So this is something we were talking about last week, actually. So sometimes people don't even realise that what they're doing is classed as being innovative, do they?
No. What I think when it comes to continuous improvement, what a lot of companies are thinking is this is just how we improve our profitability. So it's just their day-to-day work of becoming a more profitable company. But we've been able to identify some real key savings. The beauty of continuous improvement work is where the traditional claims might identify 5 or 10 people working in a lab doing research and development. When you bring in continuous improvement work, you bring in input from director levels down to finance, down to project managers, right down to people on the shop floor who are identifying and recording these improvements. Although there might be varying levels of percentages of salaries, which is really the key part of an R&D claim, because you've got that larger pool of staff, it often makes the claim much, much more valuable than what people may traditionally expect an R&D claim to be.
In your experience, when you talk to companies, what percentage would you say are actually eligible for these credits?
Within manufacturing, I would say 100%, quite easily. It's really the educating piece. What we often find is when we meet clients face to face and kind of go through the intricacies of research and development, there's a real kind of light bulb moment where they go, oh, well, could this be included? Or, we've done this for the last 3 years. Can we add this to it? And 9 times out of 10, yes, you can. When you are looking at continuous improvement, it's not to say that work hasn't been done by another company, but if it's not in the outer sphere of your industry and it's not identified, then there's no reason why you can't claim for that as well.
Yes, I mean, people are missing out, aren't they? Do you want to give us some specific examples of what can be included in an R&D claim?
Yeah, so particularly for manufacturing, creating more effective product, work that improves the manufacturing efficiency, reducing the downtime of machinery, reducing wastage, creating more with less raw materials, utilizing green energy solutions, any kind of efficiency that isn't bought off the shelf and brought into your manufacturing process that you've had to research, test, and bring online. That can be included in a potential R&D tax credit claim.
I suppose then let's look at the other side of the coin. What examples can't be included?
A few examples that can't be included is if you're potentially reverse engineering a competitor's products, installing an existing software solution or utilizing existing platforms to create new websites or offer solutions. What we really have to identify is the key piece that you've done and that you've brought to make it more efficiency. So even scaling up from a prototype to mass production, if it is pure at scale up where you are just increasing the numbers, that can't be included. But there is a slight caveat where when you are scaling up, there's been some kind of snagging or some kind of changes that you have to make to improve that scale-up process, that can kind of be brought into a claim. The actual cost of potentially lodging a patent or trademarks to protect the IP of a product, that can't be included in an R&D claim, because at that stage, really, you've brought the product to market. So the research and development stage has ended at that point.
Now, through this program, you're talking now to manufacturers. You're actually talking to them. So, what key areas would you tell them that they should be focusing on?
Basically, everything within their manufacturing process. Within our work, what we look to do, not only are we looking to obviously advise on previous claims and your current claim, but we look to advise on what projects you have in the pipeline moving forward. So, which within the areas of your manufacturing process, have you identified, are there snags or areas where there's dropouts? We can advise to make sure that if you are bringing an innovative angle, or even if the wording within your project is slightly tweaked, then you could bring that work into an R&D claim as well.
So what's the taxman, the beloved taxman, we all love them, what are they looking for then when they get your R&D tax credit report?
So the taxman himself, what he has to identify is that there is a clear scientific or technological advance. Within that advance, there has to be certain uncertainties identified that have been overcome, or not. If the research has been done and an uncertainty has been identified that hasn't been overcome and the research and development has failed, that can still be claimed on. But the other areas are timelines, how and when the uncertainties were overcome, and we also have to identify that the solution isn't readily available in the market. So there has to be some form of research to say, we've gone to market, we've looked for this to be able to buy the solution. It's not available, so we've had to create the solution ourselves, and this is how we did it.
Give us a bit of an overview, if you would, of additional tax saving schemes that there are. We've spoken about the R&D, that particular credit. What others are available to companies, to manufacturers?
Yeah, so there's an additional capital allowance saving that you can make for research and development plant machinery. So if you buy certain kits for research and development, you can claim a percentage of that back as a capital allowance saving. Some machinery you may still be using within your manufacturing process, but if, say, for example, 20% of that is used for research and development, then you can claim on that 20%. The other thing is patent box. So if any of your products have a patent attached to them, you can claim about 10% of the tax that you pay back on those products that have a patent attached. And we can advise both on any products that have existing patents, or we can also advise that we believe that there might be scope that a product of yours could be patented, and advise on what the costs for those could be, plus the potential returns of patent box once that patent has been established.
I reckon 100% of the people watching this probably would qualify, as we touched on earlier. So what do people do to get in touch with you, to tell us what the process is then?
Well, we're on the FactoryNOW website. We're constantly sharing news and articles on MTDCNC. You can get in touch with myself. My email is joe@lumo.tax, or at the moment you can give me a call on my mobile, which is 07808 17 if you just want a quick chat of any kind of project that you have in mind and any kind of work that you have involved. We work on a success fee model, so any kind of initial conversations, or if you decide to engage with us, we'll write the report, submit an HMRC, and it's only if there's a successful outcome and a payout is when we take our payment. So there's no kind of upfront fees for us, and our advice is free of charge. There might be a situation where currently an eligible claim isn't worth doing, but we're happy to work and offer free advice up to the point where an R&D claim could be done in the future.
So there's no upfront fees. How does it work with the payment then, Joe?
So our average success fee is about 20%, and that includes the future partnership as well. So if we're looking at future projects, and if you want us involved in advising on the financials behind future projects, or involved in any future meetings, that time and cost is all included within our success fee.
Joe, it's been really interesting to talk to you. Thank you so much, and thank you for giving us all those details for anybody watching this that wants to get in touch with you at Lumo. Brilliant. Thank you very much indeed. That's it for Factory Talk for this week. We'll be back again in 7 days' time, so have a good week. Bye-bye now.